Hi, my name is Jo. Welcome back to my channel. So it has been a hot minute since I filmed because the last time I filmed I want to say was the end of March and we are now in the beginning of May. The timeline can be reflected in my brand new Torture Pose department cardigan, but anyway. So at the end of March, the last time I filmed, I was getting ready to head to a 2-week-long vacation in Europe between France and the UK. And I did pre-film a few videos and my plan was to edit them while I was there, and that just did not happen. And then I came back and got pneumonia. And now I'm currently at what I hope is the end of the recovery process for pneumonia, because what I do want to go over today is the insane amount of books I brought back with me from Europe, as well as some bookish related goodies, and I have like 5 bookish packages, maybe 6. So this is basically just going to be a catch-up session for me as far as getting all of my things in order, getting back into the swing of recording and into the swing of reading. I'm actually staring at so many things in front of me that I'm a little paralyzed of where to begin, but maybe the most natural selection is just the pile of books to my left. So while I was in Europe, I had this goal of not just buying books to buy books, because I can buy books here and I don't have to worry about the cost of the exchange rate. I don't have to worry about the cost of luggage. So I confined myself to things that were like UK special editions or books that were relevant to the location I was currently at. And one of my favorite things to do while I was there was just look in small little bookshops, and if I could support them, I wanted to, even if they didn't have things in those set of rules. So what I did in those situations is I was specifically looking for books that were kind of small, which is something I've never done before. I've never considered how big or small a book is, but in this case I had to worry about luggage and I wanted to support these stores, so I did grab a couple small books that I would have never grabbed otherwise. I'm gonna start with what I think is the most fun category, and that is my UK special editions that I picked up. So the first one I'm going to start with is A Tempest of Tea, and I actually purchased this one before I even stepped foot onto the continent. I am very lucky to say that my best friend currently lives in the UK, and so when I saw this special edition online for Waterstones, I immediately sent it to her house. So I was very excited to have this package waiting for me when I got there, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So we all know that the cover is stunning, right? There are so many different versions of this book. Each one is beautiful. I'm trying to stop myself at just the one, but we'll see. Since purchasing this, I actually have read it because it was one of my book club reads, and I rated it 4 stars, I think. So I will definitely be reading the rest of the duology when the second one comes out. But anyway, the special parts of this book include the sprayed edges. They are so beautiful. Like, look at how pretty that is. Absolutely obsessed with that. And then when we open the book, there's also a beautiful design with the author's signature right there on the front page. And bringing it back to the topic of luggage, I was really good in the fact that this was my only hardcover book that I brought back. And again, it was one that I knew I was gonna have going into the trip. So very, very happy with this one. Also, I'm not gonna have a lot of reviews for the books I'm about to list because I have not read most of them, but like I said, I did read this one. And if you are someone who enjoyed A Six of Crows, this is very reminiscent of that, but add vampires, which I personally love. So other than that version of A Tempest of Tea, this is probably my favorite book that I brought back, and that is the UK special edition of Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've talked about this book quite a bit already. I rated it 5 stars. I have read it more than once. I have annotated it. I have highlighted it. I have annotated it and highlighted it for friends that I actually brought those copies with me to Europe to give. So it's no surprise that when I saw this special edition sitting in the store in the UK, I just grabbed it right away. I mean, it's so pretty. It's a book that I know I love, and I'm just gonna be happy to set this next to my other copies in my collection. The next special edition book I grabbed was Fourth Wing. This one was really cheap. I want to say it was only like £5, so I just snatched it up. I love the black cover with the gold, and I already have one special edition of Fourth Wing, so adding one more to the collection felt natural. And for the last special edition that I grabbed, I was actually on my way out of Europe. I was in my Heathrow terminal when I saw a little bookstore, and I went in actually looking for the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, which I did find. I just like the UK editions of that series a little bit more because of the placement of the font on the front cover. It's like not that big of a change, but it's enough where I like it more than the US versions. So I was about to buy those, but then I saw this instead and I set down the Chestnut Spring series. So the book I did end up grabbing is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I don't know if I've mentioned it on this channel before, but Divergent is the book that sort of saved my life as a teenager, so it just has a special place in my heart. Back at the beginning of March, Veronica Roth actually came to Emerald City Comic Con, so she has signed all of my copies of her books except for this one because it's new, and that was like the best day of my life. Those signed editions have like a special place of honor here in my room. So while I was a little bummed that the store only had Divergent and not the rest of the series, I still grabbed the UK edition because it felt special that I was there. I was leaving. There were 2 copies left, which was perfect. One for me, one for my sister. And who knows, you know, I'll probably end up buying the other books in the series with the UK covers, but just having at least the first one feels really special. Next up, let's talk about all of the little short books books that I brought home with me. I have read 2 of these 4 books so far. The first one that I read is called All This Has Nothing to Do With Me. So I originally picked it up because it was small. But then I read the back and it talks about the love interest being a Parisian, so that was perfect as well. And then I took a little glimpse through the book and I was fascinated because you see things like photos and newspaper articles. And the best way to describe this is probably this little paragraph on the back. It says, "This is a story of unrequited love told through fragments, photos, emails, letters of a broken relationship. It's an addictive glimpse into one woman's tormented mind." So this story follows this woman's sort of obsession with a coworker that she's romantically interested in. I was expecting a little bit more from this book. I think I ended up rating it 3 stars, but a super interesting read and relevant for where I was, and it being a small book was perfect for my luggage and my trip home. And the second book that I read from this pile is called In Her Feminine Sign, and this is an incredible poetry book. I actually got to meet up with one of my online friends for the first time while I was in the UK, and of course we had to visit a bookstore, and she was so sweet to buy this for me because she liked it and thought that it reminded her of me. And the author was born in Baghdad, so we have her experiences of living there but of also moving to the United States. And the incredibly coincidental part of this is when she moved to the United States, she became a special lecturer of Arabic at Oakland University in Michigan, which is where I had like all of my sporting events as a child. Although I now live on the West Coast, I did used to live there, so this felt just sort of meant to be, and I ended up rating this like 4.5 stars. I think it is incredible. Although it is short, it is mighty, and I highly recommend this. Now the third book in this pile I actually am in the middle of reading, and I'm so sorry if I pronounced the title wrong. I swear I did listen to it on Google over and over, and I might still get it wrong. This is called I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. Again, I am so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But again, I did pick this up because it was small, and this is a book I never would normally read. I'm very much like a romance, a fantasy, sometimes poetry type person, but very rarely memoir or nonfiction. But the title piqued my interest, as did the cover art. Now what I will say is I don't think that this book is going to be everyone's cup of tea. This book is written by a Korean author, and it follows conversations between her and her psychiatrist. So at the beginning of each chapter, we do get like a normal type of setup for a book with, you know, a page or so of just normal writing. So it just looks like the normal thing that you're used to in a book, right? But then when it comes to the actual psychiatry sessions, it is definitely more of like a script. So it's going to go back and forth between her and her psychiatrist. My guess is that a lot of people who read this are going to assume that the author is whiny and just not enjoy them. It's not like when you're reading, you know, a fiction book and the author is really trying to make the main character likable. This is definitely more honest and raw and really diving into the flaws that the author is finding within herself. So although I am enjoying it, I don't think that everyone will. However, if it sounds like, you know, it's piquing your interest, I do recommend it. Although I haven't finished it, I am really liking it so far. And the last book that I picked up on my trip because it was small is called She and Her Cat. The super cute cover is of course what got me. I mean, that is just adorable. And what I'm understanding from the inside cover is that this is maybe told from like the perspective of a neighborhood cat and the interactions this neighborhood cat has with the various humans in the community. I've never read anything like this, but it's about a cat, so how could I not like it, you know? So I'm going into this with like high-ish hopes, and if nothing else, I'm glad to be pushing myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. And I sort of feel that way about all of the smaller books that I bought because none of these are my norm, but I'm actually having a lot of fun reading things that I'm not used to reading. And now we are going to move on to my last category of books that I brought back from Europe, and this category is books that are relevant to where I was when I purchased them. The first one I have here is Charles Baudelaire, The Flowers of Evil. This is another poetry book. So there are a few reasons that I ended up with this one, and part of that is because I was in Oxford when I bought it. And on the front here it does say Oxford World's Classics, Oxford University Press on the back. But the main reason I ended up buying this one isn't necessarily because of the location, but more so who I was with. So I was with that internet friend I mentioned, and we actually met because of the Taylor Swift fandom. So at the time when we were together, the Tortured Poets department had not come out yet, but we did have the track list. And obviously one of the special editions of the Tortured Poets department is called The Albatross, and this author has a poem called The Albatross. And I could be wrong, but I heard that this is where the initial representation of like what an albatross means in literature comes from. So if that's true, that makes this extra cool. And also what I'm just now realizing is that on one side we have the poetry written in French, and on one side we have it written in English. So right down here at the bottom is where the albatross begins. So this one is kind of like a win-win to represent not only where I bought it, but the content inside of it. Next up is one of my favorite things that I brought back, and that is because I was lucky enough to visit Shakespeare & Co. while I was in Paris, and so I grabbed one of their special little books. This is called Paris in Our View, Poems Selected by Shakespeare & Company, and this is the cover. It has their little symbol right down here at the bottom. And one of the fun things about this store is when you purchase a book there, they actually stamp it for you with their logo at the cash register. So that's kind of fun because it proves that I really was there. And then the inside is just a collection of different poems about Paris that they have compiled into one beautiful beautiful poetry book. Now similarly, I found a book that is based on London. This book is called Londoners, and the front says, "The days and nights of London now, as told by those who love it, hate it, live it, left it, and long for it." This is definitely giving me the same vibe as I believe it's called Humans of New York or People of New York. It sounds like an amazing collection of just different perspectives that people have on London. And it does give a few examples on the back of the people that are included in this book, one of which I found extremely fascinating because they managed to get the woman whose voice announces the stations on the London Underground. And after using the London Underground so much while I was there, I was just kind of amazed that now I get to read like at least a little bit of her story and her perspective on the city. And to no one's surprise, I did need to grab a copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I grabbed this like right underneath Big Ben, total tourist trap, but I did need to bring one home with me, so there we go. And the very last book here is actually one that I grabbed for free. So there was a stop somewhere in the London Underground system where they basically had like a free tiny library situation going on. I did end up grabbing one book that I've already read, everyone has already read, and that is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I just really love the idea of bringing home a little trinket from the London Underground's, you know, free tiny library. And inside there's actually a December 2023 tube map of the London Underground, as well as a Pokemon card. I know nothing about Pokemon cards. I don't think this one's anything special. It's called Copycat. It's not even a Pokemon, but I do really love when people leave things in their books accidentally like that, whether it is a free tiny library, your local library, thrifting, because it shows that the book has been well loved, and I will love this in my collection as well. Next, I'm going to cover all of the fun little like trinkets and bags and merch that I brought home with me. Starting with small things, I actually grabbed a couple bookmarks for free from the Marlowe bookshop. This is just a tiny little bookstore in a city called Marlowe, and it ended up being my favorite bookstore that I visited the entire time I was in Europe. I also have this bookmark, and this one is from Shakespeare and Company. It says the name of the bookstore there, and then it also has a cute little quote on the back. It says, "Be not inhospitable to strangers, lest they be angels in disguise." A couple other free little bookmarks I got this one when I bought Fourth Wing. The back just has some reviews. While I was in Brighton, I did visit a hot chocolate type of shop, and this is called Noops. And on the back here, it actually discusses World Book Day, which was on March 7th. The next bookmark I have is from Westminster Abbey, and then this one is from the Natural History Museum. I believe that is it for bookmarks. I did grab one bookish related postcard, and this is from Shakespeare and Company, and then again, they did stamp it for me on the back, which was really nice of them. Sticking with the Shakespeare and Company theme for a second, I did grab this journal, and it's a little hard to see, but we do have the name of their bookstore right here, and it does say Paris underneath. Again, a little logo on the back, and there's nothing on the inside, except for they did stamp it for me. Again, very nice of them. But because the pages are blank, I am planning to use this as my little like travel journal with all of the receipts and little goodies that I picked up throughout my trip. And I did come home with 3 bookish related bags. So let's start with the free one that I got at the Marlowe bookshop. This is what they gave me when I checked out, and I can't believe that it was free because it's super high quality and absolutely adorable. I did end up grabbing this tote bag, which is much bigger, from Waterstones. I was just so excited to finally visit a Waterstones in real life because I've seen all of their beautiful special editions online, but actually being in one felt surreal. So I'm very happy to have this as a little souvenir. And then of course, the tote bag. I had to be, you know, the basic person who went and bought it, but this is from Shakespeare and Company, and I am just obsessed. So many people were wandering around the city with this, and I know that it's basic, but it's also just very cute, and I am thrilled to own a version for myself. Now, before I move on to my bookish packages and book boxes, I do have a couple little pieces of merch that aren't from Europe necessarily, but they're not books, so I do feel like this is the most natural place to put them in this video. And actually, I'm wrong, because the first one does have something to do with my trip, and this is a little pin that I got from Shakespeare and Company. On this little book, it says Shakespeare and Company up top, and then Paris right on the bottom. Sticking with the pin theme, I did pre-order A Vicious Game by Melissa Blair a while ago. This is part of her Halfling saga, and this book has been out for a little bit now. Actually, the next book has already been announced, but I finally received my pin that I was promised when I pre-ordered, and it is so pretty. And the fun part about this pin is that it's actually also drawn onto the cover of A Vicious Game. So I love that I have like a physical piece of the book in my collection now. And the last pin that I got is actually from Mercari. This one is for Defend the Dawn. So a potion bottle type pin like this was released for each of the 3 books in the Defy the Night trilogy. I got onto the train a little late, so I did pre-order the last one, and I was able to pre-order like the pin with it as well. That was super easy. Finding the previous 2 pre-order pins for the first 2 books in the series has been a task, but I really wanted them. I wanted them for a long time now, so I felt justified in buying this one because it was really, really cheap, like I think under $10 on Mercari, so I'm very excited to have that in my collection. And recently I did find the last one, the Defy the Night pin, which was much more expensive than the Defend the Dawn pin. But because I have the other 2 and I was looking for it for so long, I just bought it, and it's coming with a special signed edition of the book, so it will be fine, and I will have that in a future video covering my bookish merch. All right, last 2 things are patches. These are patches for some book clubs that I'm in. I do have a bookish jean jacket, and there is one patch for one of the book clubs I'm already in on the jacket. So I decided that I needed my other 2 book clubs to be represented on there as well. Here's the first patch, and this book club is called Castles Crumbling. And with the name of the book club being a song title of Taylor Swift's, it is no surprise that this is a book club full of Swifties. It's actually virtual. We meet on Discord. I'm still new-ish to the book club, but I'm having so much fun, and it's such a welcoming community that I just knew I needed a patch, and I'm thrilled to be putting this on my bookish jacket. And the very last piece of merch and the very last patch is for an in-person book club, and this is actually one that I started and I'm so excited about. This book club is called Inner Circle, and this is what this patch looks like. It's been so fun getting to meet other bookish people in my area, and I'm really excited that I have a patch and then everyone else is going to get a patch too. So I think what I'm gonna start with is this bookish mail, because the other ones are all book boxes. Now this, I believe, is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. And it looks like I ordered this from Roman's bookstore. Okay, we have a little sticker here, and it does say that it's autographed, which is why I ordered it from this bookstore. Ooh, I don't think I realized that there were gonna be sprayed edges on this. So here's the cover, and I'm really loving how this chain here is reflective. And then when we turn it on its side, we do have black sprayed edges, which is very cool. And I love that it's super on theme with the cover. It just kind of is seamless. And before we even get to the author's signature, right away, we have a really cool front section. And here is our signature. So as well as receiving the book in this package, we do also have something in this little envelope. So let's see what's in it. Well, this is really cool. It's like an art print, and it has gold foil. It says, "Fate can be changed, curses can be broken." This is really beautiful, and I'm loving the whole aesthetic of the book and this print. And it does say that this was illustrated by an artist called Travis DeMello. So that is it for bookish packages. Now on to bookish boxes. I do have 5. So as far as bookish boxes go, I know that some people don't like to be spoiled of what's inside of them. I'm filming this on May 5th, so I've received these all prior to May 5th. The boxes that I have are Illumicrate, Owl Crate, Evernight, and I have 2 Afterlights because one of them was released like back in January or something and finally was able to be purchased by the general public, and I've been waiting for that one, so I do have that as well. So first up we have Illumicrate. So let's see what's inside of this one. Let's get this opened up. So this book is called To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, and it is beautiful. So let's get this plastic off real quick. There is a lot going on in all of the best ways. So on the front here we do have this reflective gold foil. It's sort of like a little bit all over, as well as on the back. So pretty. These sprayed edges are absolutely incredible, and they do go all the way around. That is such a fun pattern. And then when we open the inside, the art is just stunning. Let's see if it's on the back as well. Oh, we have different art on the back. This is so cool. I'm really obsessed with this art style. That is really, really pretty. And the book is also signed. So I'm really off to a good start of being happy with purchasing these book boxes for the first time. And I just realized that if I take off the dust jacket, this is so cool. This is incredible. I don't have any books like this. I know that I'm late to the book box collecting thing, but this is just absolutely incredible. I'm late to the game, but I'm just happy to be here because that is such a beautiful book. And according to the back, it is a tale at the intersection of science fiction, fantasy, and the very real devastation that colonialism brings down on colonized peoples. I am super excited to read that book. That sounds amazing. So let's do Evernight next, and I believe this is the horror book box. So we do get a little page on what the book is about. That's pretty cool. And then the book is called Murder Road, and this cover is incredible. It looks like a comic book. I love that the art also goes to the back, and then these are some of the coolest sprayed edges I've ever seen. It's like a hot pink forest, and then the top and the bottom of the book are this beautiful just hot pink. Inside we have some really fun artwork on both the front and the back covers. It is also signed by the author. Oh my gosh, and then when you take the dust jacket off, it's like a map. How fun is this map? And it looks like it's by Lake Huron, so it hits close to home, or at least where my home used to be. And then the back is really pretty too. I can tell that if nothing else, I'm going to have fun with just the aesthetic and the vibe of this book. And I purposefully got this book box because it's not my typical genre, but I am trying to branch out more, as I mentioned, with the books I brought back from Europe. So I think this is a good place to start. Now we have 2 Afterlight book boxes. So the first one here, this looks like the new one that was released. Yes, April 2024. It's called the Take Me Home box. And then on the back of this, we do have a synopsis of the book. Oh, and it also comes with like an art print. That is so cool. I love when we get art with books. And on the back of the art print, we have a little letter from the author. So I am absolutely obsessed with the look of this book because I grew up playing baseball, watching baseball, and the vibes are immaculate. I do love this reflective piece right here on the cover, and then the sprayed edges are just insane. The baseballs are so cool. I love that it's red and it goes all the way around. This is a beautiful book. So the book is signed, and it looks like our 2 leads are in the LGBT community, so absolutely love that. I'm loving the artwork that is on the front and back covers. And then when we take the dust jacket off, oh my gosh, wait, this is really pretty. How beautiful is that? That is not at all what I expected from the inside, but I love again that we have the reflective piece as well as the reflective piece on the spine. Okay, hold on one second. We need to look at the art on these a little bit more because one, I covered up one of our characters characters here, okay? That is fantastic. I love that we have both the characters. But more so on the front, what I just noticed is I think this is a Little Shop of Horrors poster. Plus, I keep seeing this dog, so I'm invested with that as well. So here is the second Afterlife box. This is one that I like purposefully ordered even though I was not a member of the subscription box previously. It is from January 2024, and this is the Spite Me box. And the main reason that I really wanted this one is because I like the author a lot. Olivia Dade has written a couple books that I've really enjoyed, my favorite being Spoiler Alert. And I thought that the version of the book that came in this box was stunning, so I'm super happy that I now own it. So we do have a little letter from the author, and then on the back is this art. And this features our two leads of the book in this box. And now it's time for the book. I think that this is one of the prettiest sprayed edges I've ever seen. But let's start with the cover. So we just have a really fun, cute cover. We have a fun spine. I love anything hot pink. Immediately, yes. Our leads on the back as well. It says, if living well was the best revenge, Athena intended to be the most joyful woman alive. And all her happiness, she hoped Dr. Matthew Vine, the freaking third, choked on it. And here's the fun part, is that if you look at her dress, right? She's wearing a strawberry dress. And this is where my favorite part comes in. Look at these sprayed edges. I mean, that is just so cool. I'm obsessed with the strawberries, and even the top and bottom, they don't have the strawberries, but it's like this pastel galaxy vibe. It is just so beautiful. And again, we do have the author signature right on the front there. Let's take the dust jacket off so we can see the art fully here on the inside of the front cover. And then on the inside of the back cover, this is the same as the art print that was in the box. And then without the dust jacket, this is the actual book. So it looks like it is just their apartment complex. I think that is really beautiful, actually. I'm getting like this fall theme. We do have a little jack-o'-lantern here in this window. And if there are autumnal vibes in a book, I'm immediately sold. So on top of the fact that there's that, I love the author. This book is beautiful. We have a plus-size female main character, as we normally do in Olivia Dade's books, which I am obsessed with. I do have high hopes for this book. I hope that I enjoy it. And if nothing else, it will at least be, you know, the most beautiful book in my collection. Okay, last bookish box I have here is Owl Crate. And I believe that this one has a few things besides just the book. This is the April Young Adult book box, and it is called Death to the Undying. Here is our little page. And then on the back of this, we do go through each of the things that are in the box and who the creators of each thing are. In this little box, we have a little bag. So this is cool. It's a little perfume oil roller, and it looks like it's a combination of bergamot, spearmint, and black tea. Obviously, we have to smell it. That's really nice. It's definitely not something I would normally wear just because the spearmint is a little strong, but I feel like this would be perfect for maybe like fall or winter. Next up, we have this little box here. This is really cute. It looks like a little vase that you can throw plants in. It says, home is what you take with you and not what you leave behind. And then we have this design on the front of it, and then here is just the hole where you can start planting something in here. This says Creatures and Companions, an Owl Crate exclusive limited edition collection, Sorcery of Thorns. And I believe in here we have a little bookmark. So here we have our bookmark. It does come with a tassel, and the back does say Owl Crate right there. We have another little package, and it looks like this is a pin collection. Okay, so it seems like there is one pin that comes with each box, so there will be 12 total for the year. And this pin is beautiful. I'm assuming that it will be based on the book inside of the package. The back does say based on Strange the Dreamer, so if Strange the Dreamer is the book in this box, then there we go. We have something else here. This one says it's a reading checklist. So this is a little plastic reading checklist, and it has a list of various things that you can check off, like reading a book on your TBR, reading an Owl Crate book, and then you are able to just check yes or no, which is very cute. I'll probably just put this on my desk. So it does look like our book is different from the pin. This is by Kelly Andrew, and it's called Your Blood, My Bones, and the cover is really cool. So here is the cover, and then here's the back. The reflection of that is really pretty. And then we do have sprayed edges, and it does go all the way around the entire book. So we do have the author signature right here at the front of the book. And then let's take off the dust jacket to check out the art. So here is the art on the front cover of the book, and then the art on the back cover of the book. The book itself without the dust jacket is absolutely beautiful. The color matches perfectly to our sprayed edges, and the silver foil on this is just stunning. Look at how cool that is. And it's just as intense on the back. The inside says, a girl who will not love, a boy who cannot die, a twisted destiny neither can escape. And there's actually art on the inside of the dust jacket, which is amazing, and I didn't know that that was a thing like at all that might happen. So that's really cool. And there's one more thing that I can't show you exactly yet, but there are some books in here that I'm really excited about why I have them. I'm super new to to being on BookTube, and I'm still fairly new on being on Bookstagram, but I'm having so much fun building a community and working on some fun, amazing content creation aspects of being part of the bookish community. There's just something really special about finding a place where you feel like you belong, and then when cool things happen that you don't expect, it makes me feel like I'm in the right space. Obviously, I love reading, as we can see in this video. It's taken over my life, which, I mean, it's been a part of my life for so long, but to find a space on social media to talk about it and speak with like-minded people is really unique and something I'm very grateful for. So if you would like to be a part of my online reading journey, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and in the caption below you will be able to find my other bookish social media links. So thank you for being a part of this really fun new journey I'm on, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.